Hey y'all, fresh blackberries are in season. So I'm about to make blackberry cobbler. Now, this is the easiest cobbler recipe you have ever seen. And it's also delicious. I've made it before. Actually, this is Ree Drummond's blackberry cobbler recipe. And I'm here to tell you it is good. So let's get started making it. Move this down. Now, here we go. We need 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of self-rising flour. You could use plain flour and add baking powder and salt to it. 1 cup of milk and 1 stick of melted butter. And that's it for the actual cobbler part. Now, I like to use a whisk to mix it up because the flour gets kind of lumpy, so you need to have a whisk. You could also, I guess, if you wanted to use a mixer on low speed, but the whisk works really well. So just take a minute to mix it all together. Get the lumps out as much as you can. Just like that. See, it's a thin batter. This would probably make good pancakes. This would probably make really good pancakes. All right, I'm gonna set this out of the way. I'm gonna bring over my baking dish. I've sprayed it with butter spray. You could also just use butter and grease it good. Now, you just pour this batter into the pan. I'll use the whisk here, the spatula, so I can get all of the batter out. And then, the only other thing you need to do, well, actually there's 2 other things, sorry about that. But you need to put the blackberries, just distribute them into the batter. Now the recipe calls for 2 cups of blackberries. By the way, these are fresh from a farm in Gunnersville, if I didn't already say that. So they're really good. But the recipe calls for 2 cups, and I'm using a really good hearty 2 cups worth of blackberries. You just put them in the batter evenly. Just like that. And then, now, the only other thing you need is a 1/4 cup of sugar to just sprinkle on top of the batter and the blackberries. Just sprinkle it all around as evenly as possible. The oven is preheated to 350, so I'm going to put it in the oven and set the timer for 1 hour. About 10 minutes before it comes out of the oven, I'm going to take it out of the oven and I'm going to add a couple more teaspoons, sprinkle a couple more teaspoons of sugar on top, and then let it finish baking. And then after it cools enough to sample, I'll be back. So, see you in a while. Oh my goodness, we're back with blackberry cobbler. Look at that. Oh, just look at that. Is that not beautiful? It baked for 1 hour. When there was 10 minutes left, I sprinkled a couple more teaspoons of sugar on top. That's an optional step, according to Ree. But now, let's just dig in here and get a taste. It's still very hot. It's been sitting out for, maybe 10 minutes or so. Oh, man. I love how this is crunchy on top. Sprinkling that sugar really adds crunch. Have my little tasting bowl and spoon. So now, the fun part, let's see how it tastes. Oh, it's really hot. I better go with a little smaller taste. Those blackberries are so good. They're from a neighbor here in our neighborhood, in our subdivision. He has a farm in Gunnersville, and he raises blueberries and blackberries and peaches, and he was selling blackberries and blueberries this week, so I just had to have some blackberries. Nice and fresh and so juicy and good, and with this crunchy topped cobbler, and then it's softer in the middle. You can add ice cream, you can add whipped cream. You don't have to add anything. It's really good. See y'all.